Why does this feel so heavy when you're doing everything right? You're praying, you're wrestling up, you're trying to stay faithful, yet it feels like no one sees you. No affirmation, no applause, just silence. And that silence presses on your chest. Hear me clearly, you're not weak for feeling this. Psalm 31:12 says, I am forgotten as though I were dead. I have become like broken pottery. David wrote that while still chosen by God. So if you feel unseen, you're not imagining it. You're not dramatic. You're human. There's a special ache that comes from being faithful without being noticed. You keep pouring, serving, loving, believing, yet it feels like your obedience echoes into an empty room. Others seem celebrated while you feel invisible. But this pain is not proof of failure. It's proof of faithfulness and a weight. Let this settle in your spirit. God sees the weight you carry. He sees the tears you wipe before anyone notices. This heaviness is not the end of your story. It's the doorway. And now, we begin to uncover why it matters. Applause feels good, doesn't it? It tells you that you matter, that you're seen, that your effort counts. But over time, applause can quietly become a prison. You start measuring your worth by reactions, likes, responses, and recognition. And the moment they fade, so does your peace. Galatians 1:10 asks, am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God? That question exposes why you feel so tired. Chasing approval is exhausting because it was never meant to carry your identity. When people praise you, they can also withdraw it. And when they do, your heart scrambles to perform harder, prove more, explain yourself. That's not freedom. That's bondage dressed as affirmation. God loves you too much to let applause define you before you're ready. So he slowly loosens its grip. This season isn't punishment. It's protection. God is teaching you to live from his approval, not for human applause. And once your identity settles there, everything begins to shift. Quiet strength is forming where applause once ruled inside. Sometimes the hardest part isn't the silence itself. It's not knowing why it's happening. You look around and realize the crowd is gone. Conversations fade. Invitations stop. And you wonder if you missed something or did something wrong. But hear me, God didn't withdraw the crowd because you failed. He withdrew them because he was intentional. Matthew 6:6 says, when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father, who is unseen. Before public fruit, there is private formation. God often hides what he treasures most. In obscurity, motives are purified. In quiet, your voice learns to recognize him. This is not a season of being shelved. It's a season of being trained. Public performance builds image, but hidden training builds character. And character is what carries calling without crushing it. Isolation feels confusing because it strips away distraction. It exposes what you lean on. But God is not pushing you away, he's pulling you closer. The crowd leaving is not rejection, it's reduction. And reduction always comes before multiplication. Stay here. Something sacred is happening now. Who you are when no one is watching matters more than who you appear to be when everyone is looking. Luke 16:10 says, whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. God is watching how you love when it's inconvenient, how you obey when there's no reward, how you pray when no one applauds your faith. This season is not about what you do. It's about who you're becoming. Public obedience is easy when affirmation follows. Private devotion is costly because it asks for faith without feedback. Here, in the quiet, God shapes integrity. He teaches your heart to choose him without needing proof. You're learning to be faithful without being affirmed, consistent without being celebrated. That kind of faith doesn't fade under pressure. You may feel small right now, but seeds grow in hidden soil. God isn't concerned with your visibility. He is committed to your stability. And when the time comes for you to be seen, you won't crumble under the weight with him. God has always done his deepest work away from the spotlight. David was anointed king in 1 Samuel 16, yet sent back to the fields, unseen, tending sheep, while his brothers stood tall. That pasture was his classroom. Moses spent 40 years, hidden in the wilderness before God, spoke to him in Exodus 3, not in a palace, but near a burning bush. Obscurity prepared him to lead with humility. Even Jesus lived 30 quiet years before heaven opened in Luke 3, and the Spirit led him into the wilderness in Luke 4. No crowds, no applause. Just obedience. This pattern matters because it places you inside a holy lineage. You are not late, you are aligned. Unknown seasons always come before appointed moments. God forms strength where no one claps, so it won't depend on applause later. What feels like delay is actually depth. What feels like invisibility is intentional shaping. Let doubt loosen its grip. If God hid David, Moses, and Jesus before revealing them, then your season makes sense. You're not being overlooked, you're being trained. And training always happens where faith grows roots before it bears fruit. This is preparation, not punishment, and it will end. What if the applause you want right now would actually harm you? Proverbs 16:18 warns that pride goes before destruction, and God knows exactly how fragile untested identity can be. Early exposure can inflate what has on the bun. Rooted and sudden recognition can crush what has on the bun. You're not being denied visibility because you're unworthy. You're being protected because you're valuable. God sees what applause would awaken too soon. Comparison, pressure, fear of losing favor. He shields you until your worth is anchored in Him alone. This delay is not a setback, it's a covering, like fruit ripening on the branch. Timing matters. If picked too early, it never reaches fullness. So trust the quiet. Trust the pace. God is preserving your heart from weights you're not meant to carry yet. When the time is right, what He reveals won't destroy you. It will sustain you, safely, slowly, under His watchful care. Right now, God is gently untangling your identity from recognition. Colossians 3:2-3 says, "For you died, and your life is now hidden with Christ in God." Hidden doesn't mean lost. It means safe. You are learning the difference between being seen and being known. Being seen satisfies pride for a moment. Being known heals the soul. This season invites you to stop striving and start resting. You don't have to prove your value anymore. God already named it. Your worth is no longer tied to who notices you, but to who holds you. Let this truth settle in your spirit. You are secure, even unseen. God is redefining you from the inside out, and peace is replacing pressure. Slowly, faithfully. What comes after this season is not loss, but lifting. Peter 5:6 promises that God will exalt you in due time. Not early, not late. This humbling you feel now is shaping strength, not shrinking you. You're learning to stand without applause so you won't fall when it comes. One day, doors will open gently, not suddenly, because your heart will be ready. You won't rush to be seen. You'll walk calmly, grounded, and secure. This season will end, and when it does, you'll carry peace, not pressure. Purpose will feel lighter. Obedience will feel joyful, and you'll realize God didn't delay you. He prepared you for what lasts. Hope will rise quietly. Confidence will settle deeply, and you will thank God for every unseen step that shaped you inside you. Let this truth seal your heart today. Isaiah 49:16 says, "I have engraved you on the palms of my hands. You are not forgotten. You are remembered, marked, and held." Even when people overlook you, God never loses sight of you. You are His daughter, His son, deeply known and deeply secure. So breathe, release the need to be seen. Lay down the ache for applause. God is with you in the quiet, and He is pleased with your faithfulness. May peace guard your heart. May rest replace striving. May trust rise where fear once lived. You are hidden, but holy. Unseen, but chosen. And when this season closes, you will stand strong, steady, and whole, knowing God carried you every step. Is faithful, gentle, present, and forever near. If this resonated, type "God sees me" in the comments as a quiet reminder to your heart, or share one word that describes this season for you. Stay with this community if you need encouragement like this. You don't have to walk this season alone.